record on this computer.
Oh, there's her sexy voice.
There's their sexy voice. And this is that sweet, sweet bonus content all you YouTubers get. So let me get to where
by the way,
to be.
Right there, YouTubers. I had someone ask me today, who's Allie? I was like, what? Wait, what?
Well, just tell them you're not the shit yourself diet program. You're familiar with that, aren't you?
Yes. That was good, man.
Or I guess there's a bank called Ally as well, right?
Yes, there's a bank. Yeah, I'm not a banker.
You are none of those things.
None of those things.
See, YouTubers, this is the stuff that Facebook guys they just miss out on. They don't get tremendous discussion about whether or not Evan's shirt perhaps means something about doo-doo.
That I sharded myself.
He's the bank for Monopoly.
I'm not the bank. I just have a gray beard. That's it.
Was that what your post was about?
Yeah, seriously, dude, that's exactly what it was about. Like, I wanted to start something called Gray Beard Wisdom. That's all it was. I was like, okay, let me think that. Now, I did have some shit happen, and I love the fact that you picked up on it. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to be one of those people that are like, oh, please pray for me, blah, 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 all this other stuff. I didn't want to be that guy, but, Gray Beard Wisdom. And we're live, my friend.
We're live. And along those lines, I actually had to ask Amy. So I've been letting this grow. And I've historically not been able to get a whole lot of beautiful facial hair going. And I actually walked in after I groomed, and I walked into Amy and I said, is this blonde or are these gray hairs? And she goes, don't worry about it. So you know what?
Oh, okay. I'm curious. I'm curious about this. And literally the YouTubers out there and people who will join us later and watch this, I need for you to weigh in. So the SO, right, is adamant about me not ever going babyface ever again, because
interesting. Okay.
It just absolutely loves the pepper, loves, the peppered beard, loves the gray, all that good stuff, man. I'm telling you, opinion so far says just let it grow, man. Just let it grow.
You were one of the first to kind of point it out. Some people over the weekend playing soccer kind of noticed what I had going on, and even my SO was like, I believe her exact words is, I don't hate it.
Wow.
Maybe for the first time ever, I get to look like an adult rather than a 16-year-old caught wrong on picture day.
Yes, dude, I'm telling you, once again, I'm just a history professor. I play a chemistry professor on TV. What I want to say is this, is that I think that as we grow older as men, we get more distinguished, my friend. I mean, we really do. And I think that let that grow out. You are definitely rocking
the distinguished look, and you've got that midnight love voice going on.
Well,
I'm kind of rocking Fish Weekend dirtbag look. I have the hair pulled back so you can't see all that shit. And I'm
okay. I want to compliment you though.
I'm wearing my first night handmade tie-dye.
Tie-dye?
Yes.
Dude, dude, you're killing it right now. You really are. I think that, you know what? You're living your best life. I swear.
I have become Doc Sportillo from Inherent.
I think one of the things that I enjoy most about the openings of our show is that we just riff like this. But I'm going to continue riffing, because I'm like, if there's one person, if there's one white man that makes me want to have long hair, it's you. I swear, just to pull it back once, just to bring it back and do the thing. And
I've been debating about getting rid of it and shaving and all that jazz, but you know what? Until I got a reason, I'm not going to do it. And So yeah. So folks, this is the beautiful extra content
Extra.
that you get if you don't tune in early. This is what you get, or you tune in on YouTube. You definitely get this. So
Yes.
hey, it is Wednesday. It's a hot, muggy Wednesday. Temperatures are rising, as I said, metaphorically and realistically around the country.
Oh
and
yeah.
It is time for a Wednesday night Evan and Aaron show. I'm Aaron. That's Evan. We are friends. We love to hang out and drink and chat and talk some bullshit. And that's precisely what we are about to get into as I make sure that I've got the Indy 11 game on in the background.
Oh.
And yeah.
I need to figure out a configuration where I can have like my TV. Like I may need to go to the dude, next week I may go to the recliner. I swear I may go to the recliner.
Ooh,
like,
now that might be the
chill, laid back.
The chill, laid back vibe for this show, I think, is the way to go. We definitely got to hook up at Chatham Tap sometime and get it done. Speaking of Chatham Tap, I was there at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
To witness the, I guess we'd call it the start of the Premier League. Technically, it started the day before with Arsenal doing the Arsenalist of things by losing to newly promoted Brentford. But yeah, I was there at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, celebrating the start of the new season and my birthday. So it was a lovely day. We can probably have a quick chat about all the goodness of the English Premier League and the other leagues that started off. My team got a big win at 5-1 early in the morning, followed up by your and Mr. Wolfla's favorite club, Chelsea, handing out a truly start to finish clinic, 3-0 over, I believe it was Crystal Palace. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Liverpool largely took care of Norwich, who I think are going to be okay. I think Norwich might stay up. And the big deal on Sunday was a truly wonderful tactical battle between Tottenham and Manchester City, and Nuno Espirito Santo announced his presence as the new Spurs manager and put on quite a show. I believe they played I think they went 4-2-3-1, 4-3-2-1. I think they went full Christmas tree and really caused problems for Man City, who they threatened a few times, but by and large, I think Tottenham were in control of the match. And I'm just super excited for this season. I think for the first time in a while, we've got several teams who are really in the mix for it. Chelsea can count themselves in the mix, Liverpool in the mix, United in the mix, maybe even Spurs at this point.
I was going to say Tottenham, and I want to get your opinion on this, and Io, please chime in. Tottenham looked comfortable. Like, they looked comfortable. Like, there were a few times, Man City did Man City things, but I think overall, man, what a game plan they had coming in. It was well executed. I enjoyed watching.
Spurs have won, I believe, the last 4 matches at home against Manchester City, and largely doing it this way, letting City have possession in, by and large, non-threatening positions on the field, and basically saying, we don't think you're going to create good enough opportunities. And on top of that, you traded away your best goal scorer. Gabriel Jesus has never turned into Kun Aguero, and Ferran Torres missed a couple sitters that, looking back, maybe he should have hit, but he didn't. Tottenham played it close and ended up 1-0 winners. So you got to say, for a change, we've got a really, at least from day one,
interesting table.
An interesting table. And I'll say this: I don't think Arsenal are going to have a terrible season. You could see it coming a mile away that they would lose a game like this. They kind of do. They will right the ship. They will sort it out, and they will finish 7th because that's their new normal.
And yes, Arteta will do exactly what he needs to do to stay in the chair, stay in the helm. It's interesting. The big thing for me this past weekend, I loved seeing the Brentford fans. I loved seeing them. It was wonderful. Do we expect Brentford to, top half of the?
No.
I don't know. I don't. I think that they will fight relegation for the rest of the year. But boy, what an incredible scene that was. I mean, that was really cool. That was like the Cleveland Browns 2 years ago winning their first game in like 2 years against the Jets, right? Did we expect the Browns to make the playoffs that year? No, we didn't. But my God.
You take your positives when you get them, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
What I thought was even cooler is that someone can correct me, but I heard this, I believe via a commentator on NBC, or maybe it was the lead-in. There are only 2 cities in the world named Brentford. Obviously, Brentford, a suburb of London.
Right.
And Brentford, South Dakota, a very small town of 99 people who have adopted Brentford as their club. And several members got up early not got up early, but donned Brentford jerseys to watch that game at 3:00 on Friday afternoon. That's awesome. Is what I love. This game brings people together. That's why I love sport. I know it's not for everybody. Shout out to Gina. I know it's not your thing necessarily, but when you ask yourself, why do these dudes love it? It's for that right there. It's this camaraderie. And as Roger Bennett said on Stephen Colbert's show, I believe yesterday, look, if you go to the bar at 7:30 in the morning and you have a pint and a shot of whiskey, you get frowned upon. If there happens to be a game on, you are just considered a really, really good fan.
You're a good fan.
And Americans just need a good excuse to drink, and that's it. So IO, it's Spurs to holla at me at Easter, then we can talk about it. You're absolutely right, but you can't tell me right now as a Chelsea fan that didn't warm your heart just a little bit that City didn't get 3 points on the first day of the season. So
no, I will. I'm not answering for IO, but I believe I'm answering for a lot of Chelsea fans that, oh my God, that was tasty, my friend. That was tasty. That was good.
Elsewhere, we saw Barcelona won their first game without Lionel Messi. Real Madrid won. PSG did not. I don't think Messi and the other new boys played. That team is now very scary. PSG is just going to be nasty good this year. Not like they haven't been, but talk about re-upping for a new season and bringing in some people. So that's going to be dangerous. And Germany, we saw.
I was going to say, let's talk Bundesliga. My new team, Dortmund, they won their opening match, and Holland,
dude's a beast.
That guy is amazing. And I'll be the first one to admit I had not paid attention to the Bundesliga. And the one reason why I started liking Dortmund is because Gio Reyna's there. I like Gio Reyna. I like watching him play soccer. And then I found out about Holland. But then, unfortunately, on Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Monday? Monday. We found out how good Lewandowski is whenever you give him a gift. I mean, it was. We pulled back to 2-1, and I really felt like Dortmund was gaining momentum, and then we made a huge mistake, and we gave the ball to probably one of the top 3 strikers, I'd say, in Europe right now.
Not probably. There is no doubt that Robert Lewandowski is currently one of the top strikers on the planet. Erling Haaland is the only one I would really put in that same category. And if he got the same kind of service Lewandowski did, he'd score even more goals. This kid, I have no issue saying that Erling Braut Haaland is going to end his career as a legend of the game, barring some sort of catastrophic injury. But look at this kid. He's like 6'4", 215 pounds. When you see him standing next to what you consider a large defender, he just muscles him out of the way. He's left foot, right foot. He can finish with his head. And by the way, he's still in his early 20s. He's going to get better.
He's going to get better.
I wouldn't want any part of this kid if I was a defender.
Yeah. That first first match that they played, he had 3 assists and 1 goal. His 1 goal was amazing, but I would contest that his 3 assists. I mean, literally, Aaron, I could score off of the incredible assists that he gave to his team. I mean,
I believe he now has 67 goals in 66 appearances.
Wow.
And he's still a youngster. He's still learning the game. But I want to say this. Speaking of assists, a certain Frenchman named Paul Pogba had 4 assists.
Yes.
The only way you overshadow Bruno Fernandes getting a hat trick in the first game of the season is to dump off 4 assists. I don't know if somebody slipped a little acid in Pogba's drink and told him that he was playing for France and not Manchester United or what, but he seems happy. He seems to want to be there. And there is nothing more dangerous in the world than Paul Pogba who wants to play.
So I have a question for you, Aaron, because you've obviously been, more connected to the soccer world than I have. I've had a soccer past, you know that, but I've kind of left the game and haven't. Is there something to be said about players playing harder for their countries rather than their clubs? Is that a phenomena, or is it kind of a conflated type thing?
I'm sure it happens. And there's a phenomenon of players who can't replicate their club output for their country because they're so used to what they have around them. John Barnes famously was that type of player for Liverpool, just a phenomenal player in the English first division in the mid to late 80s. But when he put on the England jersey, it just didn't work out for him because he didn't have quite the same players and the same system around him. That said, I think it's pretty obvious Paul Pogba for the last few years has been far more comfortable in a France jersey than he has a United jersey. And, it's up to Ole to figure out how to make him comfortable and replicate that. Clearly playing in the left side of an attacking 3 is incredible for him. He's got cover. He's got all 3 of them have the freedom to kind of roam around and interchange, because if you look at where his assists came from, a lot of them came from wide spots. So he clearly is allowed to drift in, drift out. But I'm sorry, the best pass I saw all weekend long was his assist to Mason Greenwood.
Oh my God.
A raking 45-yard ball on the ground that went around a defender and allowed Mason to run directly onto it. Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. And going back to Chelsea's performance, Captain America scored. I mean, when Pulisic scores, it's just, it's so great when he scores. And I'm excited to see what happens when Lukaku actually gets on the pitch with him. I'm like,
I love me some Lukaku, and I hope, like I have for the last couple of seasons, I hope Lukaku and Pulisic do, score goals, and until they're playing United, do well, because
start Werner, right?
I love him. I love watching him play, and I think if Lukaku and Pulisic can get a relationship going, good Lord, look out, because Lukaku's got no problem drifting wide and creating assists for others as well. He's a very unselfish player, as is Pooley. I mean, look, let's face it, the goal Pooley scored had everything to do with just right place, right time, and being on the doorstep, and that was beautiful. Real quick, Aya said you can make a legit argument that Lewandowski's been the best striker on the planet for the past 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know if I'd go that far back, just because of Bayern Munich's dominance is sometimes deceiving. That said, they've been making it to quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals of Champions League, and he's a big part of that. I'm not going to say no to your comment. He's definitely been one of the top strikers on the planet for that long. And if Saturday's Pogba is the Pogba United has for the whole season,
oh man,
God. If Pogba plays this way and stays healthy for the whole season, we will challenge for the Premier League trophy.
Challenge?
No doubt.
Dude,
no doubt.
No. Look, once again, huge Chelsea fan. But if that was Paul Pogba, if that is the Paul Pogba 2021-22 season, we're in a world of hurt, man. The rest of the league is. I mean,
I agree. It takes more than one guy to make things tick. But his play at that level with Bruno, and if Sancho comes in and plays well, we're in the mix. I mean, the Premier League is the Premier League, man. You can't. It's a fool's errand to try to make really, really staunch predictions.
Right.
But we're in the mix. We're in the mix.
But it makes it makes the Premier League, I think it makes it so much more fun to watch, like every game, every match, like even, Norwich and I don't know whatever, Crystal Palace. It's like, you look at those matches and you start to see matchups that are like, oh man, this is so good. The parity in the league this year, if this first weekend is an indicator, the parity that's in the league this year, you will not want to miss a single match. I mean, you won't.
I believe there were no draws this weekend in the Premier League. I believe every game finished with a victor, which
I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right.
You don't see that a whole lot. So, all right, we will we'll move on. Sorry to bore anybody who's not into the English Premier League, but as far as I can tell, it's just IO. And
I was going to say, it's our show. It's our show, dude. I mean,
it is.
Well, actually, it's the people's show. It's the people's show. Yes. We are allies, not allies. We're allies.
So yes, and that is as those on YouTube will already have heard at this point. He is neither a shit your pants diet supplement nor a weird bank. He is an ally. He's a friend. He's a supporter.
Yes.
And
that's awesome.
I am as well. I got your back. Let's move on. I think we're going to save what's going on halfway around the world for the second half of the show, because I think that really deserves a lot of time. What doesn't really deserve a lot of time is guys like DeSantis and Abbott actively trying to harm people in their school systems, in their states. It was nice to see Biden take some executive actions today with regard to making sure all workers in nursing homes are going to be vaccinated. And apparently he's taking action in places where, governors are saying you can't have mask mandates in schools. I don't know how he's going to do that. I think the best way is, look, if you're, like DeSantis, I'm going to withhold payment, from places where, they're implementing mask mandates. Well, we'll find some federal funds to keep paying you while you do your job, which is educate our kids and keep them safe, because it's pretty fucking stupid to say you can't look after people, especially in a state that has rising cases, as many cases as we saw at the peak, probably last year in places like New York and California. So it just, Evan, when you hear about stuff like that, especially when you hear about, I think it's DeSantis, and I could be wrong. Correct me out there. It's either DeSantis or Abbott, but they're getting millions in contributions from Regeneron, a supposed COVID treatment. I mean, isn't the system set up in such a way to prevent this? He's done it. What's his face? The moron, Rand Paul, his wife has stock, just when you hear this stuff, when you hear these decisions, when you hear about, does it just seem like the game is rigged?
Yeah, I mean, it does. And I've got two words for you. Greg Abbott. How about that? How about you? Hey, mask mandates, I'm going to make sure that there's no mask mandates. And then you end up getting COVID, buddy. You end up getting COVID.
Again, I wish no ill will, but maybe watching a guy get sick.
You are our moral compass tonight, because I can't say that. Honestly, I can't. I'm like, you know what? Look, it's the same thing. Once again, we have quoted this before, Aaron, and I will quote it again. It's that parable of the woman who finds the injured snake and nurses it back to health, and she goes to feed it again, and the snake bites her, and she goes, "Why in the hell did you bite me? I'm dying." The snake goes, "Hey, you knew I was a snake."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have no remorse for this guy. I'm like, you know what? I think every single person like Greg Abbott, I think, DeSantis, I think Abbott, I think, Taylor Greene, Hawley, Cruz, all those people need to get on the TV and they need to say, I'm sorry. I am so sorry for deceiving the American public. I'm so sorry for deceiving my state because, I mean, the guy got the same treatment as Trump did.
Yeah.
Not only did he get, the vaccine and things like that, but he got the same treatment as Trump did. And he's still out there talking about, making sure that nobody's, getting, the mask mandates aren't available, aren't around in Texas. I'm like, that's a bunch of crap, dude. I'm like, if this doesn't show Republican hypocrisy at its worst, I don't know what will. I mean, I thought last week when we talked about DeSantis, when we talked about DeSantis, I was like, okay, this is the epitome of Republican hypocrisy. Karma is at play right here. Abbott getting COVID and getting the treatment that Trump got after Trump called it a hoax. I'm like, what else do you have to see to lose utter and complete faith in this party? I mean, I don't understand. Now, flipping the mattress. No, you're right. We'll talk about that later. But to end my point on that, if the Republican Party doesn't die because of this, I'm not sure that they will ever get past the hold of Trump on their party. I don't see them getting past that. I don't. I mean,
well, they
seem
determined to go down with that ship. And we've said it before. There are two major kinds of Republican politicians right now: the people who know better, the Mitch McConnells, that are using all of these things as an opportunity to create a political wedge and divisiveness and generate fundraising and stuff like that. And then your Boeberts and Greens and Cawthorns, who I'm not sure they are smart enough. I think that either they've been just as duped as the people who showed up on January 6th, or their hubris is just so massive as to be unable to really process this information. Yeah. And I think McConnell is worse. I think knowing better and still doing what is wrong is far worse than being ignorant and making bad decisions. But yep. God damn, the unearned arrogance that Cawthorn and Boebert and Green march around with while spouting just some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I much like I thought when Trump was running for president, when you hear somebody speak in nothing but a 20-minute run-on sentence that absolutely has no point, no thesis, no cohesiveness, nothing, and you come away going, yep, that's my guy, I don't know what to say to you. Look, if you hear Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or all these people and you say, what, I don't agree with you, that's fine. We can have a discussion about that. But sure. when you listen to, or worse, read the transcript of a speech by a Boebert or a Green or a Trump, and you go, yeah, that's fucking genius, I have no idea where to begin, because it's clearly, I feel like I've been transplanted to like Newcastle, England, and everybody's a Geordie, and they're speaking English. They're technically speaking English, but they're not, and it's not, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I want to, I'd love to meet them where they are, but I can't, because when you listen to this gibberish and you say, yeah, that's fucking great, I can't do it.
It's the equivalent. Well, not the equivalent, but the thing I think about is like you getting asked to, be a witness for, a friend's, quick wedding that they go to the Justice of Peace, but then they want to have a wedding ceremony, an actual ceremony in the Bahamas. And like they fly, they're like, hey, you know what? You can just come to the Bahamas. And I'm like, wait a minute now. I was just there when you got that, and now you want me to spend all this money to go to the Bahamas to do the same thing that you were there. It doesn't make sense. And that's a problem. That's why there's so much dissonance in the United States today, is because it's like, wait, we all know that this is a virus. We all know that this virus is deadly and can be deadly.
Yeah.
We know that the mortality rate is lower. Nevertheless, it is still a mortality rate that we need to be careful about. And it just seems like nobody cares. And you know what? Okay, so here's my Stephen A moment for this week. I'm going to go off on Indiana. Indiana, what the hell are we doing? I'm still going into stores. I got my mask on. I'm still going into stores, seeing nobody with their mask on, with little kids in tow, little kids. And I'm like, they can't get the vaccine. That they are more apt to get the Delta variant. That more kids now than ever are being hospitalized. Matter of fact, there's there's like 100-some-thousand kids now that are hospitalized in the United States, and people are like, oh, that's just 100, blah, blah, blah. But nobody understands what this virus can do in the long run, and yet we are acting like we're going to a damn Kid Rock concert. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? Indiana.
Sadly, he puts on a good show.
Well, okay, there you go. But Indiana, get your shit together, man.
I want to address something in the comments going on. We've got a little conversation, and I was kind of confused by it as well. I said there's a woman running for Missouri office named Jess Piper who says one of the main reasons they are banning the mask mandates in public schools is so they fail and they privatize the school system. At first, I thought this was a stretch, but the more I kind of looked into it, the more it makes sense. Gia said she's a dumb woman. We don't have a mandate for 2 weeks and have staff hospitalized. There's a little back and forth here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just looked at, I'd not heard this woman before. She's a rural school teacher and farmer, and she's running for Democratic office. This is one of those, I won't call it a conspiracy theory because you can kind of see it, but I think this is a bit of a stretch because it doesn't seem well coordinated enough. I'm not sure that would necessarily lead directly to privatizing. What I will say is this. We know that DeSantis is getting money, campaign contributions from companies who are making profits off of people being sick. So, it's not a huge stretch. I can't speak intelligently on this because this is the first I've heard of it, and I don't know who she is. And I'm also going to say it's Missouri, where in the last few years we've seen a lot of crazy go on. So I don't know. All I can say is that anybody who isn't taking this seriously right now is basically begging to get sick themselves or have a loved one get sick and lose people close to them. And, that comes on the heels of now finding out that we're going to be recommended to get a third booster, a booster shot, a third shot. The Pfizer efficacy is dropping off for the Delta variant. Although I've read conflicting reports of that. And again, this is one of those situations where immediately people jump to, oh, one side's lying and the other side's lying, blah, 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 blah. Nah, folks, this is how science works. And we're in a gray area. The Delta variant is new. The Lambda variant is new. We don't know exactly how effective these viruses are going to be. But what I do know is I'd rather be safe than sorry. And if you think giving me a booster shot is going to help, pick an arm.
Yeah, exactly.
All you have to say is pick an arm.
We're not even, the press hasn't even really started talking about the Lambda variant yet. And the Lambda variant has mutated even more than the Delta. The Delta has 2 strains in it that, number one, helps it to be more contagious and also helps it to avoid current vaccinations a little bit better. Lambda's worse. And so, when we think about this, and once again, it's looming, Aaron. And for most of Indiana, it's here. School systems. We are back in school. We're back in school. Next Monday, we're like my institution, we're back in school.
I think what's making the Delta, the scary one right now is it's a lot more transmissible.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to transmit from one person to the next. And again, you know, this is one of those things where I think people still have a false confidence. Like, well, I've survived the flu. That's fine. Yeah. But if you have a bad case of the flu and you go to grandma's house over Thanksgiving, you can kill grandma. And we've not thought long and hard enough about that over probably, you know, the majority of most people's lives. You just don't think about it. Oh, I've got the flu. It's not that big of a deal. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'll go. And you know what? You'd feel horrible if grandma caught the flu and ended up in the hospital and then potentially died.
Yeah.
This is 1,000 times worse than that. And I don't know how to get people to take that seriously, other than you should just watch all these videos of people who denied it for the longest time and now are leaving deathbed videos right before they get, you know, put on a ventilator, saying, please, I didn't take this seriously. This sucks. This hurts. Please go get the virus, or please go get the vaccine.
Yeah. Or watch the videos of the pediatric wards, you know, pediatric ICU wards that are filling up. Like, you know, everybody wants to talk about this and like, oh, well, kids can't get it. They're not affected by it. You know, it's not as bad with them. Okay. You know what? Let's go down to Florida. Let's go, you know, out to, you know, Missouri and Louisiana and talk about, you know, and stand by the side of a kid's bed who's sitting there, who's laying there suffering because, you know, we didn't want to believe that this could happen to children. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we can't rally around something when it's affecting our kids, I mean, you can't convince me, Aaron. And this is the thing. This has become so political, political in nature that we are literally, this isn't doubling down anymore, man. It's not doubling down. This is literally just not fucking caring about people.
Well,
you don't care.
And the reality is, clearly, collectively, we do not. If after Sandy Hook, if that alone wasn't enough to say we need to do something to protect our kids, a fucking virus isn't going to do it.
No, you're right. It's not.
And it was the last thing I'll say is, I believe it was the Texas Surgeon General. I don't know, a high ranking medical person in Texas said, our pediatric ICU beds are full. If your child gets sick, they're going to wait for another child to die before they get a bed. And you know what? I'm sure there's some rootin' tootin' motherfucker going, well, that's just how it's supposed to be. And that, you know, it's always been the right talking about how the left doesn't have a moral compass, that, you know, they don't have enough God in their life. They don't have enough care about humanity. I've never seen anything remotely like this level of uncaring about fellow citizens and fellow human beings as I have during this event. It's sickening.
That being said, my friend, it is time to show some caring, because it is, I'm calling halftime. It's a little past it, but that's okay. I'm going to call halftime. And for those of you who are new to us, those of you who are checking out our podcast, our video cast for the first time, this is the time where I spill every little drop of my ice cold Fireball into my crotch.
Well
done. That's exactly where it went.
So now you have fire crotch.
Man, that was cold. And man, it's just, oh, I am so sad. That's alcohol abuse. But anyway, this is the part of the show where we, have a shot and we give a shout out. So Aaron, I need to get a towel.
Okay.
I'm
I,
sure.
I,
Yeah. For
I
all
want
the
to.
times you've heard that phrase, I'm just saying.
I want to ask you something real quick because we
Please.
discussed something before the show that will be coming up, I believe, on Monday. But I think you probably got a text, like I got a text.
Yes. Yes. And that's what my shout out was going to be. I was going to send it to the two organizers of the thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, along those lines, you go ahead with your shout out, and then I will repeat their text and then announce what will be coming up on Monday.
Okay. So I will give a shout out right now to Jen and to JoJo. You guys have done an incredible job, incredible work, making sure our community understands the perils of what cancer can do. And remembering a dear friend of ours who's been gone for a little while. Aaron, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to go and grab a towel and fill up my shot glass again.
Excellent. Well, I'm just reading what got sent to us, and there will be more information. We're going to cut a promo talking about this in detail for everybody out there. But I want to say this is called #CancerSucks2021. It is an event that's been going on for the past couple of years that was started, unfortunately, because some friend, both JoJo and Jen, a good friend of theirs and ours, Wendy, had gotten cancer and unfortunately passed away. And they've been putting on this event for the past few years. It's a fundraiser. It's a bar crawl. It's a very good time in support of a very necessary cause. It will be taking place Saturday, September 18th, starting at 1 p.m. at Chatham Tap and Fishers. All ages welcome. Registration is $40 and includes a t-shirt and 2 raffle tickets. Additional raffle tickets and t-shirts available for purchase on the day of the event while supplies last. Adult sizes only for shirts. To register, visit wendylhudson.org, spelled like it sounds, and click the donate button located at the bottom of the page. Please indicate your shirt size when registering. This year's event and its proceeds are in support of Holly Pennywitt, another good friend of the show, a good friend of Chatham Tap Fishers, lovely, lovely lady. She is courageously battling stage 4 breast cancer. You will still see her up at Chatham Tap occasionally with a big, bright smile on her face. Her and her husband, Ryan, are honestly, they are just absolute troopers, and they are fighting this. They are living life one day at a time, the way we all should, and saying fuck cancer. So go Holly. Everybody, we need your support. Hope to see you there. We're going to share this. I'm going to copy this and put it out on our page, on my page. Some of you may have gotten this text as well if you're a regular up there, but big shout out, JoJo, Jen, you are doing God's work. It's a beautiful thing to see. And we're going to keep doing this and supporting it until we fuck cancer all the way gone. So when Evan comes back, I got a big fat shot right here next to me to salute those two lovely ladies for the work that they're doing. And if you have any questions, get up there to Chatham Tap. JoJo's there quite a bit. Should probably be even there more often from the sound of things. And
there you go.
This is a great cause. And I am more than honored to be able to share this information and call the two of them friends. So JoJo, Jen, shout out to Wendy as well. She was a wonderful woman, and a shout out to Holly.
Wonderful.
She still is a wonderful woman. People, fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Slanky.
Dude, I didn't realize how sticky Fireball was. Oh my God.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
What did you do?
Mr. Beam. Mr. Beam.
No,
wow. I have, it turns out, as I've been noticing lately after all of my different health issues.
Yes.
Fireball is especially bad at causing some of my swelling and flare-ups and things of that nature. I think liquor in general does it. So I'm limiting that. That's why I'm drinking these damn tall boy Miller Lights and putting on 5 pounds, putting on 5 pounds a week from empty calories. But I'm gonna have to say no to the Fireball from now on and substitute something else, because man, I did it last week and then or the week before, and then spent the entire week after that with like fucking Barney Rubble legs and feet, man. I was swollen as could be. So
Oh, wow.
trying to look after my health. And by looking after my health, I did a shot of whiskey. So, hey, it all evens out in the end.
Yeah.
So we can switch now to the second half of the program and, kind of a segue in talking about, whether or not we care about the lives of other people.
You gotta read that last comment though, man.
Oh, wait, hold on.
That is hilarious. Fireball is the excuse white people give when they start wilding out at bars.
Well, it has only recently replaced Red Bull and vodka.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Awesome.
Or just Jaeger bombs with Red Bull.
Thanks a lot, Pitbull. Thanks, Pitbull.
But you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
That's right.
So this week, for the first time in 20 years, American troops have pulled out of Afghanistan and are leaving it to the Afghans. And unfortunately, it turns out they've left it to the Taliban. Now, this is a complex issue, and we can attack it from a lot of angles, but I do want to say this. President Trump started the withdrawal process. He was the one who negotiated it. And by and large, I think it's the right thing to do. Whether or not I would have negotiated directly with the Taliban, whether or not I would have announced a specific date, and whether or not I would have allowed Russia to be an intermediary in this entire process, I think I would have probably done that different. But Joe Biden largely decided to stick with that plan and actually pushed it back. Let's remember, a lot of Republicans wanted this to happen much earlier in the year. So if you think it was a problem now, I think it would have been a problem then too. And we can discuss, I'm happy to discuss how this withdrawal has occurred. The optics are very similar to the fall of Saigon in 1974, 75. It doesn't look great. That said, if 20 years wasn't enough to eradicate the Taliban and train the Afghan police and military to look after themselves, then sticking around for, I've heard criticisms, of Biden's speech saying, well, he clearly doesn't think he could do better over the next 7 years. Well, no, what in the last 20 years makes you think we could have? This is getting out of Afghanistan is the right move. If your argument is we shouldn't have been there in the first place, I'm happy to have that conversation too. Although I will say we had a far better reason to go into Afghanistan in the early 2000s than we did to go into Vietnam in the mid 60s. But at the end of the day, it seems to me that the Afghans don't want to be in charge of their own country. And I got to be honest, I feel for them. They've been at war with somebody for going on 50 years now. The Soviets invaded in 1978. We began to arm the Mujahideen. Now, we armed the Mujahideen largely as a way of drawing out the conflict. We didn't seek to end it. We sought to drain Soviet resources and cause problems.
Proxy war, dude. Proxy war.
It was a proxy war. And then the Mujahideen turned into the Taliban, and Osama bin Laden was now well-trained by American CIA and military. So they do have a reason to dislike us. There was no good answer to this whatsoever, but I'm not sure sticking around is any better. I would love to hear somebody's counter argument. I've mainly heard criticisms of Joe Biden. I haven't heard anybody saying this is exactly what we should have done instead. Evan, what are your thoughts on this? Where do you stand? And do you agree, disagree? And what comes next?
I think there were some really good threads that that my significant other sent me that said exactly what you said. I've seen both sides of the issue. Let me start personally. Personally, I hurt for the people of Afghanistan. I hurt especially for the women and girls in Afghanistan. I think that their lives will go back to something that will not allow them to realize their potential. I think that they will be robbed of their liberties. I do not trust the Taliban. even the news conference, quote unquote news conference they gave, smelled of propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I watch several news outlets, and and you're right, I've heard them really jumping on Biden. And I was watching Morning Joe this morning, and there were several people saying that this is going to be a stain on the Biden legacy and things like that. But I need to set the foundation first. Number one, I don't think any registered Republican official, Republican, politician should have anything to say about this, because they ran in 2016, under the guise of America First. You don't get to weigh in on this. You don't get to use this. President Biden made a decision that is a hard decision. In studying leadership, man, you know this, Aaron. When you're the leader, when you make hard decisions, you know that you are going to have people criticize you. You know that that's going to happen. This decision that he made, he's not only got the people, the good men and women of the military who spent 20 years there screaming at him. You don't only have people who have given their lives in Afghanistan to protect and to serve the United States government yelling at him. You not only have infighting in the Democratic Party, you've got the media coming down. You've got all of these people yelling at you. But that's your job. You are the commander in chief. And the fact is that, like I said, if you are a Republican voter, and if you're a Republican representative or whatever, you have absolutely no ground right now to stand and criticize this man, other than saying that, you know what? Yeah, it probably could have been done differently. And when we break it all down, absolutely, it could have been done differently. It could have been done more covertly. It could have, we could have, there's a bunch of could haves, but none of it needs to be coming from the Republican Party, because the Republican Party ran on this America First agenda. And these people who voted Trump in bought into it. And so now you want to turn around and now you want to say, oh, there's poor people in Afghanistan. What about those poor people in Afghanistan when it was 2016?
Well, first,
Trump, like you said, Trump was the one that initiated this.
First off, yeah, this whole plan, they were cheering for the last year. We're going to withdraw from Afghanistan. We're finally doing it. We're not being the world's policeman, blah, 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 blah.
Absolutely.
But let's make something clear. They don't care about the Afghans.
No.
Laura Ingraham has made it very clear we should not be accepting Afghan refugees. I believe Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're the same person. I'm sorry, I can't tell them apart.
They are.
They're just
vile human beings.
They
vile.
Are. I must have said something I would regret.
Yeah, I know. That's why I jumped in.
But they don't care. They actually joked about Afghanis falling off, the plane. The Afghani who was found in the wheel well, dead. They don't care. They're inhumane. These aren't people to them. They do not care one bit. So yeah, no. they have absolutely no room to talk at all right now. Now, I don't agree that this is a massive stain on the Biden administration.
I'm with you.
It's a check against, because it could have been executed better. But I think everyone has always said, if you announce you're going to withdraw from a country, if you're the Taliban, then you go, oh, you're withdrawing on August 15th. Well, we'll be ready on August 16th. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So that was a failure. The one thing I'm not liking right now is, Biden came out and said, look, this isn't going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a collapse like this. And then it did. It happened even quicker than people thought. And then the intelligence community is coming out saying, no, we've given all sorts of this was a dire situation, blah, 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 blah. But then Mark Milley came out today, I believe, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, or I could be wrong on that. He's a very, very high-ranking military official. He said, we got no intelligence. We saw nothing that made us believe that the Afghan military was going to fall apart this quickly. But this was, they laid down their weapons. That the president fled the country. They found him in the UAE today, which did not realize the allyship there. But this is not one of those either or decision. There's way too much. There's too much minutia. There's too much detail to this situation to be flippant about it. And I'm kind of sick of seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's incredibly unfortunate because this couldn't have.
Io's hit it on the head. I don't think there are any right answers here. At this point, this was probably the best option considering every option was a bad option. Yes. Yeah. Look, the fact that we were still there after 20 years, it was problematic. So a decision had to be made. That decision got made by the last guy. This is like when people argue about NAFTA. Hey, NAFTA got created by Bush and a whole bunch of Republicans, and the Democrats said, yeah, but we want a few things. It got signed under Clinton, but this was a joint effort. This right here, this is a joint effort. Everybody said it's time to get the fuck out of Afghanistan. And most Americans said, you're right. We've been there way too long. I'm sick of American lives being spent on this lost cause. Now we've had to send people back in for this.
Right.
Now, if we lose more on American lives, I mean, who are you criticizing now?
But once again, man, this is what we do. I mean, but this is what a lot of times the Democratic Party does. It eats its own. Like, it eats its own. And it seems like this, we react rather than truly like, okay, let's start to really think down the path and like, okay, what does this really have to do? When Trump enacted the travel ban, right? There wasn't a lot of thinking that we had to do there. There wasn't a lot of like, okay, let's process, why did he do this? What we knew why he did that. We knew exactly why he did that. And no matter what they say, it wasn't because they were expecting like, terrorist. No, it was because he didn't like people from Muslim countries. He called it shithole countries. Yeah. We know, we have evidence to back it up. When you're looking at this instance, there's so much history there. Like you said, this is almost like an Iran back in the 1980s type thing when, they actually were more, they had more of a French influence where, girls and boys could go to school together and they were learning different things. And then boom, whenever the Shah comes in and takes over, then things change. It's like there's so much history there. Yeah. We're wiping that away and just saying, oh, wow, isn't that terrible that, that Biden came in and did this? Well, no, this was 20 years of failure. 20 years of shared failure. This is American failure once again. And it's like, you know what? When do you cut the cord? When do you say enough is enough? He said enough is enough. And you're right. We could debate all day long whether or not this was handled the right way. I don't think it was, but I think the decision had to be made. And I think the decision needed to be made. Yeah. And you know what? If you want to come against him about all that, that's fine. But the way I see it and the way I see history playing out, that, like I said, every option was a bad option, but it still had to be, the decision had to be made. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And I don't, without any counterpoint, I just, and unless somebody can come to me and say, you know what, this is what we should have done different, Aaron, we're all saying largely the same thing. And it's a tragedy. But at some point in time, look, if Russia or China want to wade into that, I've heard people say that like the big winners here are Russia and China. Are they? How?
How?
Because they don't love you.
Do they want to take on the Taliban? Okay, let's let them do a 20-year war to try and figure that thing out. Go ahead.
Hey, Russia, you can have your 9/11.
Yeah, exactly.
China, you can have your 9/11.
Yep.
And
Go ahead.
And again, I'm not wishing that on anybody, but everybody with their arrogance and talking about how this is American comeuppance, to a certain extent, it may be, but it's coming for you too. These people don't care.
No,
they don't care. And I feel really, really terrible for every young schoolgirl, every female news reporter, every female with a real job in Afghanistan, because they're probably going to get fired. And they're painting the doors of homes of prominent women in Afghanistan. 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count as to what you think's going to be the outcome of that.
Oh my God.
It's a tragedy, man. It's an absolute tragedy. But you can't say the U.S. has to stop being the world's policeman and then say, well, we should have stayed. You just can't. Those exactly. 2 things do not jive. So
nope.
I think we've covered that. It's just it's sad. I do want to interject real quick, because obviously I'm checking a whole bunch of shit. Sadly, tragedy has come to Indiana today, and in the last couple hours, there was a shooting at the NHK facility in Clinton County, and this kind of hits a little too close to home. My wife is from Frankfort, which is in Clinton County.
Oh, wow.
There were 2 women shot and killed. The suspect is in custody. I'm guessing this is probably pretty similar to what went on here in Indianapolis recently. I'm sure it was a disgruntled employee. Somehow doubt it was, I don't know, it's maybe a lover's quarrel. Who knows? I'm just speculating, so I should just shut the fuck up. But more gun violence in America, and today it was in Indiana. And
wow.
Along those lines, Indianapolis just surpassed Chicago as the deadliest city in the Midwest. And by and large, that's all happening on the east side of Indianapolis. So stay off of 10th and Mithofer, folks.
Man.
Sad.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to try and turn this. No.
Sorry, man.
That's what we do. We talk about shit, man. We just do. And so,
I don't have any more. There's not many details. I've been looking it up. It just kind of popped up into my feed here real quick. So just thought I'd share that. If you've got loved ones in Clinton County, give them a call. I'm not a religious man. I don't pray, but as a turn of phrase, I pray everyone else is okay, and I pray that your loved ones are okay.
Yeah.
On that note,
I don't even know, man. It's like, okay, how?
No, man. The world goes on.
The world goes on. The world goes on, and just like that, just like the world goes on, this podcast goes on. And you know what? I'm just going to go right into it, man, because we need to pick me up. And this is a Hey Aaron segment that everybody can play along with. Hey Aaron, we are going to play Would You Rather. And yes, we're going to play Would You Rather. And honestly,
let me loosen up the tie here.
Yeah. Now I think these are rather innocuous. Okay. I think they're okay.
Halle Berry.
No.
Wait, no. Not an option? Oh, okay, my bad.
Not an option. I'm flipping through and I'm like, where are we getting to the adult questions? Because all these are kids. Oh, questions for couples. Here we go. Okay. Would you rather? Oh. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna play Would You Rather. These are questions. These are fun and easy this or that questions for him. For him. He, him, his. There you go. Are you ready for this, my friend?
I am. I can be gendered.
Okay, awesome. All right, here we go. Would you rather go watch a movie or go watch the sunset?
Oh man. The SO loves watching movies, and she would love me to say, watch a movie. But we
Ooh,
usually spend most of the time deciding which movie not to watch
okay.
and then never really get around to a movie. Uh, and or we start a movie and the SO falls asleep within about 5 minutes. So now I'm stuck watching a movie I didn't choose. So I'm gonna say the sunset. By the way,
Okay.
I can walk up to the levee wall right outside my house and watch the sun go down, and it is beautiful coming down right over the river. It's lovely.
Wow.
I love a good
Okay.
sunset. I do.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And I can't monitor the whatever the thing are that people leave statements, I guess.
Comments.
Comments. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Yes, comments. Yeah, I actually soaked up some of the extra Fireball, so yeah. Anyway,
The fumes are wafting upward.
it is. They are. So here we go. Number 2. Would you rather cuddle under the stars or cuddle under a blanket?
I gotta say blanket.
Hmm.
I know, but I'm not the most. We're not the most outdoorsy couple, and I like my air conditioning, and I like a high thread count.
I like that. Hey,
I like a high thread count. Soft Egyptian cotton cuddling. Yes,
a lot
yes.
more. Soft Egyptian cotton is so much more sexy than like a mosquito nuzzling against your skin, getting ready to get you. Yeah.
For the novices out there, let me tell you this: sex on the beach sounds awesome,
Ah.
but I want to just plant this into your mind. Have you ever played beach volleyball? And how long does it take to get the sand out of your shorts after you have?
Oh,
I'm
man,
not
okay.
going any further than that. I'm
Ooh.
leaving it to your own, I'm just saying.
Uncle Aaron's wisdom right there. Uncle Aaron's wisdom.
Chafing.
Would you rather have someone tell you the brutal truth or have them lie to protect your feelings?
Brutal motherfucking truth, man. I can handle it. I know who I am. I don't want to hear bullshit. I want you to say, hey, man, you're fucking up. Do better.
I kind of knew that. I don't even know why I asked that one. Okay, here. This one gets kind of Netflixy. Here we go. Would you rather would you rather have all the chats on your phone leak or all the photos on your phone leak?
Chats. I have deleted any photos I don't want. Actually, I don't have any bad chats.
Oh, wait, no.
I haven't had bad chats for a long time.
You would rather have the photos leaked then, right? You've deleted all the ones that you don't want people to see, correct? Is that it? Uh-oh.
Correct. Wait, we have a random comment that I have no idea what is in regards to.
I've got to see this. Okay, what are we looking at?
Jeremy says OJ, cran, vodka, and peach schnapps is the best. Oh, it's a sex on. That's a sex on the beach. I get your joke, sir.
Jeremy Sweeney. Okay, so Jeremy Sweeney is a great friend of mine, and
just don't actually go to the beach after you drink that drink.
Exactly. That's awesome. Okay. Next, would you rather be happy, wealthy, or healthy? I am a petty sumbitch, man. I'm so petty. My answer is
I think I gotta say happy, because money doesn't buy happiness and health is fleeting.
okay. No, I respect your answer to this, my friend. I do.
Money doesn't buy happiness, but it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yes, there you go.
But I would rather be happy, because if I'm happy, then I have a certain amount of health and I have a certain amount of wealth. I may not be the wealthiest or the healthiest, but I'm happy. If I'm happy, those two things are certainly part of the equation, and I'm at least healthy and wealthy enough.
Okay, you know what? That makes perfect sense. But I'm still going to take wealthy, because I will buy my health. and I will buy my happiness. I swear, I mean, you can always go to Amsterdam. I mean, you can buy whatever you want there. So there
is a lot of happiness for sale.
A lot of happiness for sale there.
In Amsterdam.
Would you rather forgive or forget?
Man. The good person in me says forgive. The selfish person in me says forget.
Okay. No, I feel that one, man. I feel that one. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Would you rather get stuck in an elevator with your ex and your partner, or with your partner and their ex?
Probably their ex.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of stories there, man. I feel there's stories there.
Well, one, I got more exes, so I ain't even going to try to figure out which one that would be. And two, in that situation, dealing with their ex, I'm managing my emotions, my behavior, versus the first one where I'm having to manage other people's.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Would you rather have breakfast in bed or a midnight snack?
Midnight snack.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Also, are these euphemisms?
An afternoon special.
Afternoon delight?
Afternoon delight, or yes. No. Okay.
Yes. I'm not the hugest breakfast guy. I would much rather sleep in and then have a nice midnight snack.
Okay. Would you rather be with a jealous partner or a distant one?
I think distant. Neither is a great choice, but
right.
Jealousy really, jealousy really breeds a lot of other problems. Whereas distance, I think you can sort that out a little bit easier. Jealousy comes from a lot of places, man. Distance, I think, is a little bit easier to sort out, and it isn't always about you. Whereas the jealousy is you. It's your behaviors, whether you can control it or not, and maybe it's unfounded, but I think the distance is easier to deal with than the jealousy.
Would you rather have a time machine or a teleportation device?
I'm going to go teleportation device because I'm not real big on trying to relive shit or change the past. I think I am who I am for good or worse because of the collection of both good and bad decisions I've made in my life. But it would be pretty cool to just transport directly to, say, Amsterdam right now.
Okay. Last one. Would you rather give up social media or eat the same dinner for the rest of your life?
I think I'd figure out how to live without social media, eating the same thing for the rest of my life. I don't know if anybody knows me well enough, but man, I need diversity. I need flavors. I need the full color wheel in my life. I don't want the box of 12 crayons. I want that 128 motherfucker.
Yes. And on that note,
with the sharpener on the side and everything.
Oh
man,
that's
I gotta
beautiful.
have burnt magenta and maize in my crayon box, man. I can't just be eating PB&J every night of the week.
You got to have mauve. You got to have mauve.
Taupe.
You got taupe.
I love taupe.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Hey Aaron segment for tonight. Would you rather? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And second favorite part of this show is when Aaron sends us out with his final thoughts. Aaron, man, it's been an interesting week, tough week. Diplomatically, as far as the U.S. is concerned, a triumphant week as far as the EPL coming back. Man, you got all kinds of ways to go with this. But I'm interested in hearing, man, what are your final thoughts? Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
I'm just going to keep revisiting a lot of things that I have been, because that's where I am right now. Evan's right on a personal level, on a social level. There's a lot of bullshit going on in the world, and it's tough. So I think we all got to look after ourselves, stay positive, find the vibes that work for you. If that's like me, going and getting up way too early to watch the soccer match, or hanging out with some friends, what have you. I think that's the way to go. We got to look after ourselves. We got to find the positivity in the world. That doesn't mean it comes at the expense. It doesn't say, ignore what's going on in the world. There is plight. It is important to think about what's going on in Afghanistan. It is important to think about what's going on in Florida, in Texas. But you can't let that overwhelm you. You got to find space for your own mental health, your own positivity. And, sometimes that involves reaching out. Evan's wearing a shirt that says ally on it, and know who your allies are. And if you can't immediately think of one, you're staring at two of them. And I know it sounds crazy, and I know it might be weird to reach out to, somebody you only know through this medium, but this isn't bullshit. I know for a fact this guy right across the screen from me is one of the best listeners and supporters I've ever met in my entire life. And I would hope that, I've been that for somebody else as well. And I don't need to know someone's life story to be able to sit there and listen to their troubles and just listen. Sometimes that's what people need. So look after yourselves. Know that you've got supporters and allies right here. But I guarantee you got more than you even realize. I absolutely guarantee that if you think you're alone in the world, you are not. And it's just a matter of opening your eyes and looking around for them. So that's the best I got. Stay positive, folks. I love that you tune in. I hope we're a little bit of respite in a crazy world right now, and we gave you a laugh and gave you something to think about. If we did those couple of things, then I think we've done our jobs. So shout out to my ally across the screen here, my buddy, my friend. I love you, and I love you all out there. Thank you all for tuning in. And we will have a special promo for you. It'll be a follow-up to the whole hashtag cancer sucks kind of thing. So be on the lookout for that. We'll put it on our page. We'll be sharing it. We'll be sharing all the other information. If you have any questions, hit up either of us. And at the end of the day, Black people vote.
Black people vote. Love you, man.